Hey, what's ready? Welcome back to News Dose, and this week's been a little bit strange, and things just got a little bit stranger because right now PlayStation fans are not very happy and even a little bit confused, which in a lot of cases I would come on here and I would try to calm everybody down, but I don't think that I can do that today because I as well think that this is flat out just bizarre. So, more or less, they just announced 2 brand new games from some of their most beloved franchises. And you would think that that would be exciting. I mean, that's what you would think. But, well, the problem here is that neither of these games are actually coming to the PlayStation 5. Or for that matter, any PlayStation console at all. Yeah, that's certainly a decision for the HD console market leader, and we're going to get into all of that today. Also, it seems like Xbox exceeded expectations here recently with one of their new devices, or technically, so we will get into that as well. First, though, I do want to thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Thank you just so much for what you do, and you will receive this video through early access. Let's go and get right into things, though, starting off with the news that has the internet just speculating all kinds of wildness, and that is the ever-volatile Ubisoft. They have been a lightning rod these past couple years because of their recent releases and the decisions that they've made for those games, and, well, now, for whatever reason, Ubisoft suddenly postponed its earnings report and temporarily halted trading of its shares. Yeah, now, they will publish it in a couple of days, but There's definitely a lot of speculation as to what this could potentially mean, and most people seem to believe whatever it is, it's not exactly good news. Now, Ubisoft CFO did issue an email that said that this decision was to limit unnecessary speculation, which clearly did not work. That's kind of like telling somebody, don't think about a cow. That's the first thing that you're going to think about. But at the same time, I am going to caution people from running with some of the theories that's been floating around online. Whatever Ubisoft's reason is for this, we're going to find out here in a few days. And yes, it could potentially be bad, but it also might not. So we'll see what happens. And when we do, of course, I'll give you an update. Now, we also got some really good news for fans of Red Dead Redemption. It's officially coming to the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, the Nintendo Switch too, which is really cool to see, and then also apparently to Netflix, Android, and iOS devices. Now, to be fair, it's been playable on Xbox, PlayStation, and even the Switch 1 for quite some time, but they also mentioned that it will get a free upgrade if you already own it. I think the big surprise here, though, is definitely the inclusion of mobile devices. It just kind of dawned on me that, somehow we're going to get a mobile version of Red Dead before a 60 FPS update for Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, between Red Dead 2 and Bloodborne, it's actually crazy that these companies are just allergic to money by simply pushing out a next-generation update. That'd be a pretty good way to sell more copies of both of those games. But either which way, it's still good at the very least to see Rockstar open up such a beloved game to more people. Oh, and we finally got a release date for the Nintendo 64 FPGA console, the Analogue 3D. I mean, Analogue took people's money last year during its pre-order period. I was one of those pre-orders. But the thing is that they've since delayed it, I believe, 3 different times this year. It was actually originally supposed to release early in 2025. So, fans haven't exactly been thrilled with their communication, especially given the fact that we still haven't seen footage of it actually playing games. I mean, some people have flat out accused Analogue of lying about this console and what it can actually do, but here we are, 3+ delays later, and it's finally official. It's coming out on November 18th, or technically, it'll start shipping on November 18th. In their email, they did say that all units will be shipped before December 1st, so if you pre-ordered one, you might be happy to know that it will arrive, hopefully, before Christmas. I mean, you might not necessarily have purchased it as a Christmas gift for 2025, but hey, now it can be a good gift if you want. All right, now let's go and talk about PlayStation because, yeah, they just announced 2 brand new games that, for whatever reason, neither of which are coming to the PlayStation 5. And that might sound bizarre coming from a company like Sony. And, well, That's because it absolutely is. I mean, honestly, I think both of the games that we're about ready to talk about could have had a real audience on the PlayStation 5, and maybe even arguably a bigger audience, considering, that's where both of these franchises originated in the first place. That's where the majority of PlayStation fans are. Regardless, though, the first game that we're going to talk about is a new Ratchet and Clank game titled Ranger Rumble. This is a new arena shooter for mobile devices, and well, apparently, again, it's only for mobile devices. There's not a PC or console version in this case, which I just don't understand that decision. I mean, admittedly, I think the game itself looks okay at best. I mean, honestly, I'm not really expecting much from it, but it's still a game that I think would fit into the PC and console market. In theory, I could even argue that it would feel even better on console and PC, considering it's a shooter. It would likely feel better with a controller or a mouse as opposed to using touch controls. So why couldn't Sony make this game, a free-to-play, cross-play title? For whatever reason, though, they decided against that and made it a mobile-only game, and well, its early reception has not been great. Its YouTube trailer currently has 2.6 thousand dislikes and 1.2 thousand likes. Now, if you thought that was egregious, though, it actually gets a whole lot worse, because Sony also announced a new Horizon MMO titled Horizon Still Frontiers. And I mean, if you look at this game, it is a legitimate AAA MMORPG. The visuals are quite stunning, the character models look good, and per usual, the world of Horizon is really interesting. Like, the thing about this series is that I don't know if fans necessarily love the characters, because Aloy, she's not all that interesting, but the world itself is kind of the selling point. It's just such a mesmerizing world with the cybernetic dinosaurs and the prehistoric setting. So I just think that world would fit really well into an MMO type of game, because now you can establish yourself into that world and be a part of it. The only thing about this announcement, though, is that, again, it's just hard to understand Sony's decision-making, because unfortunately it's only a PC and mobile game. For whatever reason, they're not making it for the PlayStation 5. There's not even a hint that it will be coming to the PlayStation 5, and that's where the largest portion of Horizon's fan base is. So to skip the PlayStation 5 is, certainly a decision, and fans have definitely taken notice of that. The trailer itself has gotten a lot of likes because the game itself looks pretty good. But if you look through the comments, they're pretty much all saying the same thing. Where in the world is the PlayStation 5 version? Because, I'm willing to bet the vast majority of people who are watching this trailer are people who played the first two games on PlayStation consoles. And that's my issue with this entire situation, because it truthfully doesn't make a lot of sense to skip the PlayStation 5, even if it's only a timed thing. I mean, that's where the majority of the Horizon fan base is, so they should absolutely 100% prioritize consoles. That would be the logical thing to do. Now, to be completely fair, though, I will point out that NCSoft is the developer for this game, and if you don't know who they are, they're based in Korea, and they've worked on popular games like Guild Wars and the Aion series. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but the important thing to understand here is that they obviously specialize in PC and mobile game development. But even still, you would think that PlayStation would have helped them out at some point during development to publish it on the PlayStation 5 as well. I mean, they have the ability to do something like that, and at some point during development, they had to have noticed that this game is shaping up fairly well and that their console fan base would probably be interested. But for whatever reason, Sony didn't do that, and now their console fans are upset and a little bit confused as to why they're being left out. And I think what makes this situation even worse is that Sony hasn't really given their fan base a ton of games these past few years. So to see games like this come out and skip the PlayStation 5, it just feels wrong. Now, my prediction is that it will eventually come to the PlayStation 5. I'm crossing my fingers for that, but I do think that it should have come day one, which is really the entire point of this video, and I do understand why fans are upset about this. But let me know what you all think about it. Do you think that they should have had a PlayStation 5 version ready for day one, or is this just no big deal? Now, one more thing before we go, though, because the new Xbox Ally X is seemingly exceeding internal expectations. In a conference call, reportedly, they said the Xbox Ally X handheld has seen high demand and is in short supply. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's already sold millions upon millions of units. I've seen some people say that unless they give numbers, this means nothing, but that way of thinking is flat out wrong. And let me just explain. Internal expectations and millions upon millions of units sold are two completely different things. Not every game and every device needs to sell millions upon millions of units to be a success. In fact, you can sell millions of units of a single game, and it could still be disappointing internally if it didn't meet the company's expectations and what they wanted for that specific product. So it really all comes down to internal expectations and what these individual companies want from said product. And the fact that Asus is claiming that the Xbox Ally X is in high demand and in short supply, yeah, that pretty much tells us that the Xbox Ally X has been a big success for them so far. So that's actually a really good sign for Xbox's first foray into handheld gaming. Obviously, their fans are showing up for this device, and ultimately, this will help them establish their goal for the future. They are using the Xbox Ally as a way to improve their operating system to make it feel more console-like, which they'll then use for their next generation console. Let me know, though, if you have an Xbox Ally, are you enjoying it, and has it been worth the hype? Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.